In our previous lessons, what we've been doing, let me get out another page here. What we've been doing is we've had, well, let me get, there we go. We've done things like this, x plus 1 times x plus 2. And what we've done, these, do you remember what were these called? Started with an F. Factors. These were factors, and what we did was we would multiply them together, and we would give them, our answer would be what? Started with a P. Product. Our answer would be the product. This is what we did before. Now, to review, I would either go through here and we would draw the box. We would put our factors on the outside. Okay? So we would go through and do like x times x, which is right here, x squared. X times 2, which gave us 2x. 1 times x. 1x. 1 times 2, which was 2. Then you put these x's together, and our product was x squared plus 3x plus 2. Correct? That's what we did. Another example of what we've done, we've gone through and we've taken our factors. Okay? So these are my factors. And we've come up with a product. Now, a lot of times we called this just that hippity-hoppity distributive property, right? 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 2, plus 4. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start with the product, and we're going to go backwards to this. What do you think? Where did this 2 come from? How would we figure out what to get this 2 outside the parentheses from this? Divide, but how would you know, like looking at this, isn't the greatest common factor out of 2 and 4, isn't it 2? Doesn't 2 go into both of those? And we're pulling it out, right? So let's think about this for a sec. What if this was my product, and I wanted to find my factors to where I took out the greatest common factor, and we wrote what was left inside there. What is the greatest common factor in these two terms? Is there an x in this one over here? No. So there's not, an x is not in common. But the 3 is, doesn't the 3 go into the 9? So I pull the 3 out here. 3 times what gives me 3x? X, right? So now if I go back here, 3 times x gives me 3x. 3 times what gives me 9? 3. Oh, this is my product. And we just went backwards and we factored, because these are my factors. Let's try something else here. What if I did, what about this? GCF, and let's put what's left inside the parentheses. Right here, what's my greatest common factor in these two? Okay, a 2 is a factor. 2 goes into 4 and 2 goes into 12. But isn't there a bigger number? 4. I need the greatest common factor. So 4 goes into both of them. 4 times what gives me 4x? X. 4 times what gives me negative 12? Negative 3. Wait, we just factored. Okay. What if I did this? Let me see if I can get tricky. This one. GCF. Let's pull out a GCF and let's write what's left. What's the biggest number that goes into all three of these?
2, 3.
2 goes into all of them, right? 2 goes into 2, 2 goes into 6, 2 goes into 8. Now, is there an X in all of them? There's not? No, there's not. You're right. There's a trick question. Right here. There's no X right there, so I don't do anything with it. So now, 2 times what gives me 2x squared? X squared. 2 times what gives me negative 6x? Negative 3x. 2 times what gives me 8? Plus 4. You just factored. Okay? This is what we're trying to work towards. Okay? So let's go back and let's look at the first thing on this sheet. Because we need to review on how to find our factors. Now we've got 24. Where'd my pen go? There we go. 24 and 30. Here's what we're going to do in that blank space. 24. Ugh, my pen's acting weird. We're going to write out the factors for 24. And we're going to write out the factors for 30. Oh, I don't like the way my pen's writing. Okay. 1. Let's start with 1. 1 times what gives me 24? 24. What about 2? Does 2 go into it evenly? And some of you guys are going, well, I don't know. How do I know if 2 goes into 24? Take 24 divided by 2. Gives you 12. 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. What about 5? 24 divided by 5 does not go in evenly. Yucky. What about 6? Oh, wait. Are we starting to repeat ourselves? Because I go to 7 doesn't work, and 8, and 3, right? We're repeating ourselves. When we go to repeat, you don't need to worry about these down here. Okay, we're just going to stop. We're only going to look at these right here are my factors that I'm going to deal with. Okay, once we start repeating, there's no reason to go through it. Let's go up here to 30. 30 divided by 1 is 30. 30 divided by 2, 15, thank you. 30 divided by 3, 10. What about 4? That doesn't go in evenly. What about 5? 6. Well, the next one is 6, and it's 5. Did I just start to repeat myself? So, okay, so I'm going to stop, and I'm not going to worry about from here down. I'm only going to look at this part. What is the largest number over here that's in both of them? There's a 6 and a 6. My GCF, my greatest common factor, is 6. Okay, because that's the largest number that goes into both of them. Let's go to number 2. Draw the T-chart. There we go. I have 54. And I have 36. 54. 1. 54 divided by 1. 54. 54 divided by 2. 54 divided by 3. Thank you. 54 divided by 4. Does it go in evenly? It does not. What about 5? Some of you guys are sitting there going, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious to why you can't go 54, divide by 5, and press enter and see that it gives you a decimal. Please don't just sit there and be lazy. Make sure that you are going through and understanding what we're doing. 6. What about 54 divided by 6? 9. What about 7? 7 does not go in evenly. What about 8? No. What about 9? But we're repeating now, right? Okay, go away, repeaters. There's the factors I'm going to use and look at. So now let's go look at 36. 36 divided by 1? 36. 36 divided by 2? 18. 3? 12. I already see my GCF, but 36 divided by 4? 9. How about 5? Nope. 6? 6 and 6? 7? 8? 9? Up, but we're repeating, so go away. Here we go. Yeah, what's the biggest number that's in common? 18. My GCF is 18. Okay, on the next one, to go and find your GCF, I'm going to start here with 35. Okay. Woo, nice line. 1 and 35. 2. What's 35 divided by 2? Does that go in evenly? No. What about 3? No. 4? No. 5? 6? 7? But we're repeating. So there it is. There's only 2 numbers there. So let's look at 12. 12, I've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 4, 3. Oh, we're repeating ourselves. So we've only got this right here. But wait, you're only looking at this right here. Because 4 is here, but that's not even, so you can't use any of those. So you've got to see, is 35 in both of them? No. Is 7 anywhere in this? Nope. 5? Nope. What's the only number? A 1. The GCF is 1. Okay? Now, on number 4, we can go through and we can do the tables the exact same way. Okay? Not a big deal, but look. Ready? Another way to find your GCF. Get your calculator. Now, we're going to go, look, there's the math button underneath the alpha. We're going to press math. You're going to arrow over to number. Go down. It'll be number 9. And it says GCD. GCD, GCF, same thing. Press enter. Okay, you're supposed to press math, arrow over to number, go down to number 9 to where it says GCD, press enter. Now, you're going to put in 108. Go 108 and the comma. Look at the comma above the 7. Then put in 120 and finish the parenthesis. And press enter. That is your greatest common factor. No, you're supposed to. Now, the comment is, oh, we did all those tables for nothing. You didn't do them for nothing. You have to be able to really understand where you're looking for your factors, okay, and what your numbers are, okay? Because if I made a table over here, I would be doing the same thing, 108 and 120, and you still could do the same thing, 1 and 108, 2 and 54. You're still going to be able to go through and find your GCF the same way. Next one, number 5. Okay? Go in there. Let's try and go in there and use your calculator and find your GCF. Okay? So we go here. And again, for those of you, to remind you, go to Math. Arrow to the right to where it says NUM for number. Go to number 9. Type in 270, comma, 225. And press enter. It is 45. Now, what do you notice on the next one, though? But there's 3 numbers, but you cannot, so let me go over to the next one. There are 3 numbers. You cannot put all 3 numbers in the calculator. It only works for 2 of them at a time.
So, like, you put it to 4 and 18, and you finally get it come back to that, and then...
The comments being made, can you find these 2, put these 2 in and find the GCF? And then take that GCF and this one and find it. Yes, you can. You'd have to do it in 2 different steps. Okay? I am going to go through on this one and do the T-chart for each one, but I did want to show you on the calculator. Oh, goodness. All right, 24. So when I split it up, I'm going to look for all of them for the GCF and all of them. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, 5 and doesn't go in evenly, and then I have 6 and then 4, so I'm not going to worry about any of this because it's repeating. 18, I have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, 4 does not, 5 does not, 6 and 4 it 6 and 3, sorry, repeats. So I'm not going to worry about those. 42, 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 14, 4 and 4 does not, 5 does not, 6 does, 6 times 7, and then 7 times 6 it repeats. What is the largest number here
6.
that goes into all of them? See, I'm looking, yeah, I hear you right here in these columns. The largest number, all right, the largest number is 6. There's a 6. There's a 6. There's a 6. Your GCF is 6. Okay, now look at the next part. Now we're talking about variables. Okay? Look right here. This says x to the 5th and x to the 3rd. I need to find my GCF, my greatest common factor. First off, what does x to the 5th mean?
5 times 5 times 5 times 5.
It means 5 x's, right? What does x to the 3rd mean? Okay. How many x's? What's the smallest amount of x's that are in both of them? Yeah, I have 3 in this one, 3 in this one. Okay? So my greatest common factor is x to the 3rd power. I'm going to see if you guys see the pattern in just a second. Look at the next one. B to the 6th means 1, 2. Oh, those are x's, not b's. Try again. I'm a B. Just kidding. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y'all didn't find that funny? Okay. B to the 9th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I have 6 B's up here, and I have 6 B's right here. My GCF, B to the 6th.
So it's going to be like the first.
Not the first one,
Smaller.
the smallest one. It's whatever the power is of the smallest exponent. Okay?
So you can already tell which one it is when you divide it differently, right? The 6.
Correct. Well, let's look. Yes, let's look at this. So using that, what we were just talking about, there's x's in both of these terms, right? I have x to the 2nd power, x to the 5th power. What's the smallest exponent? So I have x to the 2nd power. Now there's a y in both of them too. And what's the smallest exponent? 2. So it's y to the 2nd power. Okay?
Is that X?
It is. It's x to the 2nd power, y to the 2nd power. It's both of them together. Okay? Now, let's look at the next ones. Use this same rule. Use this same rule, and let's look at this one right here. Is there an r in both of these terms? Yes. What's the smallest exponent on the r's?
No, I know.
R to the 9th. Is there an s in both of them? Yes. What's the smallest exponent on the s's? 11. That's your GCF. Now, wait a minute. What's happening on number 11? They have coefficients. We have numbers and letters. So, what is the GCF of 10 and 5? Why is it not 2? Does 2 go into 5? No, it does not go into 5 evenly. You're looking to see what number goes into both of them. 5 goes into both of them. And if you don't remember, go in the calculator, press math, do the GCD, and it'll tell you it's 5. Now, is there an x in both of these? Yes. The smallest exponent is the 4th power. No, you cannot put the x's and the squared in the calculator to find the GCF. You have to know that the x's are in both of them, and just you take the smallest exponent. Okay? If to know that it's 5, you would have to get either when you build your table, right, and find your greatest common factor. A lot of times what I do is I look at my smallest number and I figure out, does 5 go into the other number? And it does, and if it does, it's that number. Okay? Try and do number 12 right now, please. All right, this next one. First off, if you drew your table, you could draw your table and have 16 and find the factors of 16 and the factors of 20 to find your GCF. You could also go into the calculator and put in there math, arrow over to number, GCD, 16, comma, 20, enter, and it's 4. 4, and then m's are in both of them, and you take the smallest exponent, so it's m squared. That's your GCF. The next one, okay, which is what I asked you to already do. Okay, so you would go through and if you're working on this at home on the video, I'd pause it and try and find your GCF. Go through and find your GCF of 18 and 21. You should have found it to be 3. Now, there's an A in common in both of them, right? What is the smallest exponent? A 1. So I'm going to leave it as A. And a B is in common in both of them. What's your smallest exponent? 6. That's your GCF. Okay? Now, going over here to look to the next one. What is the greatest common factor of 56 and 32? Okay, we've got, you should be able to find it, and it's 8. Now I've got C. What's the smallest exponent? They're both the same, aren't they? Yeah, they're both C to the third power. And then, wait a minute, this one is a D. Is there a D in this one right here? No, so I can't write it down here. What about an E? No. Okay, there's some of you that have already missed the point. The only variable that we have is a C that is in common in both of them. You cannot put the D or E because it's not in the other one. It has to be what's in common of both of them. So now, what's the GCF on the next one of 24 and 30? 6. The x's are in common in both of them. X to the second power, y to the third power, z, it looks like that to the third power. Okay? Now, okay, I want you to watch now, because here is the whole thing of why we're doing this. What we're trying to do is factor out the GCF and write what is left. So let's look at number 16 right here. Look at the three numbers, 4, 8, and 6. What is the GCF out of those three numbers? A 2 comes out, so the GCF is 2. What letter is in common in all three terms? There is an X. What is the smallest exponent? The first power, right? The first power. So now we're going to go backwards with that distributive property. Right here we're going to put the GCF and we're going to write what's left. We just said the GCF is 2x, right? 2x times what gives me this first term? 2 times what gives me 4? 2. Wait. 2 times 2 gives me the 4. I have one x out here. How many do I need? 3. So this is x squared. Okay? Plus, now what do I have to take 2 times to get 8x squared? 2 times what is 8? 4. It's not x squared. 4x, because x times x gives me x squared. Now, 2 times what gives me 6x? Plus 3. Do I have to put an x on it? No. Let me show you something. Using the box method, you can do this using the box method by doing this. You put in there 4x to the third, 8x squared, and 6x. Put the GCF out here, and then you go, you take this times what gives you this. This times what gives you this. Okay? And then the same thing we did, product inside, factors outside. Okay? Let's do this one right here. Ready? Find the GCF of this right here. Okay, so we're going to find the GCF. And then I want you to multiply. I want you to find this in here. Okay? Well, let's see. I have 16, I have 8, and I have 4. Yes, the GCF is going to be, I'm going to have a 4. Okay, it can't be negative 4 because, see how that's a that's a positive up here. It's you use just the positive factor. Okay? Now, well, in this one. Now, what letter is in common in all of them? There's an X. What's the smallest exponent? A 1, so it's just a 4x. Okay, so now I'm going to take it times the first term. 4 times what gives me 16? 4. Well, wait a minute. I need, how many x's do I need? It says x squared, so I need another x. What else do I need there, though? A y, because the y's got to be there. Now, 4 times what gives me negative 8? Negative 2. I need an x, but I already have the x. I need a y. Now, wait a minute. Okay? 4 times what gives me negative, 4x times what gives me negative 4x? Negative 1. Not an x, because what's x times x? X squared. So we just factored out the GCF. Now, right here, try and do number 18. All right, on number 18, first off, when I'm trying to find what goes into both of these to find the GCF, because remember, I'm pulling the GCF out. Guys, we're going backwards. Remember, we're instead of doing the distributive property, we're trying to go backwards. That's what's called factoring. So what number goes into 27 and 18? What's the GCF? 9. Now, why are you saying x? They both have an x in common. So now, 9 times what gives you 27? 3. Now, why do I have to put an x there? It's an x squared, and x times x is x squared. 9 times what is 18? Plus 2. Do I need to put an x? Correct. This is where some people are confused. This is your answer. This is us factoring. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go backwards. Now, I want us to skip for a second, and I want you to go to number 24. We're going to look at this like a puzzle, okay? They've got the insides filled out. Now, x times what gives us x squared? X, so let's put it up there. Now, I have the x here. X times what gives me 3x? Positive 3, right? So what if I asked you to write down what are the factors and what is the product? Could you do that? Could you tell me what the difference was? Okay, what's the outside? Outside is the factors. The inside is the product. Okay, so the factors are x plus 3, x times x minus 5. That's the factors. The product is what's inside. X squared. I've got to put these x's together. Negative 2x minus 15. There's your product, and there's your factors. Now, go to the next one. Do this next one. Now this one's not as clear cut because it doesn't give us anything on the outside. Okay? What do you have to multiply together to get 5x squared? It's got to be 5x and x. Now, the problem is you're going to have to figure out, does the 5x go here or does the 5x go here? It does matter. In this case, it does matter. Out of these two boxes, what is the greatest common factor? What goes into both of them? 5. So the 5 goes out here. 5x goes here. Because out of these two boxes, what's the GCF in these two? Just the x. Okay? Now, don't worry, we're going to be working more with this later. But 5x times what gives me negative 5x? Negative 1, not negative 1x. X times what gives me 3x? Plus 3. Would you write down here, please write what are my factors and what is my product? My factors, 5x plus 3 and x minus 1. My product, remember that's what's in the inside, 5x squared. These go together here. Negative 2x minus 2x minus 3. Don't put anything up. Let's go to the next one. Not that one. I told you cross that one out. Here we go. Listen. Please, please, please focus here. Area. When they're talking about area, they're asking you for the product. Dimension, they're asking you for the factors. Okay, please write that down. That's very important. Now, here is what I have. So I'm going to continue my factor frame. And I'm going to draw my factor frame out. The product is very easy to find because the area is what's on the inside. That's your product. The factors are what's on the outside. Okay? Y'all need to finish this for Monday. The area is 1, 2, 3. These are x's. I have 3x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus 12. Now, this right here for the dimensions, the factors, right here, if I continue my lines, what do I have here on the side? That's 3 units. Across the top is an x. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4. So my dimension is 3 times x plus 4. The next one, right here, try and figure out what your area and dimensions are. Remember again, area is the product. Dimensions are the factors. Now, draw the rectangle and label the side lengths. Okay, so here's my rectangle. I've got to figure out my side lengths. So what I could do is let's factor this. Let's find my factors. And so I have 2x squared plus 8x. What is my, you're going to pull out your GCF and you're going to write what's left. Your GCF is going to be, a 2 is going to go into them and an x. Well, what's left? 2x times what gives me 2x squared? X. 2x times what gives me 8x plus 4. So now I'm going to have, these are my factors, which is in my dimensions. Remember, dimensions are length and width. So now we have 2x, and this side is x plus 4. So now we've labeled it, and it wants to know what is our perimeter. So I have 2x and x plus 4. Well, I've got 2, 4, 5, 6 x's, and add up the numbers. 4 and 4 plus 8. That's my perimeter. Here's the next one. The area of the rectangle is 9x plus 3. It asks you to identify the GCF. What is the greatest common factor? 3 goes into both of them. If I factor out the GCF, the 3 comes out, and what is left? 3 times what gives me 9x? 3x. 3 times what gives me 3? Plus 1. What are the two factors? What do those two factors represent for the triangle? They represent the length and the width. So I'd have like 3 and 3x plus 1.